Mr. Prime Minister, dear Narendra, heads of states and government, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. Mr. Prime Minister, you made a dream, and we did it. It was about this International Solar Alliance. It was 2 years ago, it was just an idea at that time, and we decided all together to act very concretely. And today is a big change. Our solar mamas we just listened to didn't wait for us. They started to act and to deliver concrete results. They didn't wait and they didn't stop because some countries decided just to leave the floor and leave the Paris Agreement. Because they decided it was good for them, for their children, their grandchildren. They decided to act and keep acting. And that's why we are here, in order to act very concretely. Mes chers amis, si nous sommes là aujourd'hui, en effet, c'est parce que nous croyons à la leçon du Mahatma Gandhi selon laquelle une once de pratique vaut mieux que des tonnes de discours. Et je crois que nous devons suivre ensemble la leçon de nos solar mamas. Il y a eu beaucoup de discours, nous en avons fait les uns les autres, contre le réchauffement climatique et les dérèglements. Et beaucoup d'entre vous, ici présents, avec qui nous étions hier soir, en vivent les conséquences directes sur leur sol. Ont déjà perdu des morceaux de territoire, ont une partie de leur activité économique qui est déjà bousculée, ont vu la vie quotidienne de leurs concitoyens déjà profondément perturbée par ces conséquences. Parce que nous avons aujourd'hui ce que vous avez appelé il y a quelques semaines, Monsieur le Premier ministre, une fracture. Une fracture entre le présent et le futur, une fracture entre le nord et le sud, une fracture entre les besoins et le potentiel.
Between the needs and the potential for producing energy, and in particular solar energy. But these fractures, notwithstanding these fractures, we should not forget something, which is that we only have one planet and we are sharing it, and for it there is no alternative. And this joint destiny means that we also have some joint duties. The countries represented here, located between the two tropics, represents some of the 3/4 of the world population. A potential of 138 gigawatts over the next 5 years, but only 23% of the existing capacity. Depending on the countries, between 20 to 50% of the population does not have access to electricity. This is what reality is today. That being said, is it a fatality? In this respect, India proves that it is possible. What you are in the process of succeeding in doing is being watched by the entire world. The renewable capacity within 2 years went from 39 to 63 gigawatts, and at the same time solar energy has been up to 140%. So how are you doing it? You attracted investments, you're supporting them, you're training your young people, and so what we shall be doing. This is what the 121 countries of the Alliance in Africa, Asia, Latin America and Oceania shall be doing. In developed countries, we often drag our feet because we may have some different interests. In emerging countries, some are saying that it's not possible because there is no investment capacities, because the research is not available. But there's so many examples to the contrary. So the joint goal, what we should mobilize for within this International Solar Alliance is indeed, and first of all, to challenge anything taken for granted. We also need to change scale. We are aiming at 1 terawatt of solar energy by 2030. To that effect, we need $1,000 billion. We know what the hurdles are, financial hurdles, regulations, capacity hurdles as well. We shall therefore lift every single one of them. To that effect, it is not just enough to look at what the governments are doing. We need a new international deal with the private sector, the international public sector, and the civil society as well. We've just seen an example of how strong the civil society is and how much it can mobilize itself, because it is our common good, and it is for the development of all of our countries. It is a matter of getting access to education, to a normal daily life, and just as we listened to one of the solar mama, who can have a normal life and learn how to read? How can you grow up when you do not have access to electricity and when there is no light every evening in the house? I therefore see three things to do. The first one is to identify projects in each and every single country. Each country, with its solar energy potential, will identify here their needs and their projects and how much financing they need. 100 first projects have already been listed within 36 member countries. Very often these are small or mid-sized countries. They are often the most efficient, but the less visible for those who are bringing about financing. It is about agriculture and rural development, and mini solar networks, roof panels and electric mobility. Very often these projects are supported and launched by young innovating companies. The Alliance shall continue to identify them. Often, these projects are slowed down by bureaucracy, sometimes even corruption, and all the difficulties we've known. So the ability to mobilize many projects, including small ones, the mobility of having some sort of a database, a list of projects, and therefore be able to get these projects together in order to help SMEs to grow, to support entrepreneurs in each and every of these countries. This is what this Solar Alliance shall do, bring them the financing as well. So beyond the 100 first projects identified, we need to identify some others. The Alliance will be able to continue to do so thanks to a digital platform, a global one, that will enable countries to get together. It will also be a means of sharing expertise and innovating technology and financing. It is a huge and fundamental project, and the platform will bring about total transparency on the topic. The second thing we shall do is to mobilize the available financing, be it public or private. In 2015, we said we would allocate some 300 million euros to solar projects in the member countries. This commitment of France has been met. A couple of months ago, together with President Kabore, we inaugurated in Burkina Faso, in Zaktuli, the largest solar plant in Western Africa. I'm very proud of it. And it is a very concrete outcome, which shows as well how much Burkina Faso mobilized itself, a country which is facing some huge risks and multiple attacks at the moment. Tomorrow, I will travel to Uttar Pradesh with Prime Minister Modi in order to inaugurate the largest solar plant in the most populated state of India. And I would like to announce today that the French Development Agency will allocate 700 million, an additional 700 million euros to its commitment to solar energy by 2022. So its total will be $1 billion. But in order to reach the $1,000 billion by 2030, in order to reach the 1 terawatt of energy, solar energy, we need private investors. The Alliance will provide a favorable framework. It means that we will improve the regulations, the tariffs as well, in order to support investments in renewable energies. It is about also improving public procurement and to provide efficient policies to that effect, as well as facilitate the purchase and supply of electricity. And I'm calling upon each and every state present here to work on that with us. It is also about reviewing the existing guarantees. We need appropriate guarantee tools. The existing ones are too expensive and do not cover all of the risks. This is the reason why India, France, the World Bank, and other partners within the International Solar Alliance are working on putting in place a joint guarantee mechanism by the end of the year. Through it, we will be able to mobilize beyond the commitments made by each government. It will enable us to mobilize private investment. And I very much want to say that these projects are more and more profitable. And if each government is facing up to their responsibilities in order to provide a stable framework in terms of investments and return on investments, this also makes sense economically to invest in the field. The third thing we shall be doing is to offer some affordable and innovative technological solutions. The Alliance should be a place where the technology can meet the expectations of the people and of the countries. Here again, let's walk away from a preconceived idea. It is not a privilege for a few. It is very much the other way around that we should what we should put in place, because the most radical innovation is what enables to sharply reduce the cost of these energies, in particular solar energy. It requires first and foremost training. We've just seen a very concrete example of it, a perfect example. It's not enough to have some infrastructure. You need to be able to use it and to take care of it. And to that effect, a network of 100 centers of excellence in the countries of the members of the Alliance will enable to train 10,000 technicians, and there will be an appropriate curricula to train them, a training program. How many times did we see countries, and sometimes probably France amongst them, countries selling through their major companies some wonderful solar farms or other infrastructure? And then a couple of months after a wonderful inauguration, people realized there were some difficulties. The first ones coming, and no one on the ground, no one in the country knew very much how to deal with these difficulties, how to fix the infrastructure, and how to run it. So if we very much want to lead some sort of a revolution, it is also about empowering people. If we want to give each country, each member of the Alliance, an ability to enable their fellow citizens to be trained, to know how to get them a job in these areas as well. Well, it all fits together. And we've just seen the example of these wonderful ladies. So the Solar Alliance is also about that, about training thousands and thousands of people who can be technicians and be able to run this infrastructure. We will also make it easier to transfer technology and innovation, because within the Alliance there will be a resource center on solar research, and the French French National Institute for Solar Energy will contribute. So training, research are indispensable lever in order to succeed on this third point. My dear friends, without the concept of climate justice, there would have been no Paris Agreement. There would have been no genuine mobilization, and we would not be here today. Each would have blamed the other, and we would have kept going nowhere. This justice, this climate justice, the willingness to protect our planet, our common good, our climate, this is our joint ability to overcome all fractures, all divides, be they geographical, short-term interests, or conflicts of representation. Today we are inventing a new way, an alliance not based on principles but on common goods, through a genuine change. We're somehow changing software, changing mindset. I can see here heads of state and government, but also many international institutions, companies, investors, representatives of civil society as well, all gathered here together for this major initiative. I can recognize many of the faces of people who were in Paris on the 12th of December last year for the One Planet Summit in Paris. We've done a lot, but there is so much more to be done. Together with Prime Minister Modi, we would like all of those taking the floor today to be making concrete announcements as to what they're aiming at in order to develop solar energy in their own country. What are the projects? What are the investments they are committing to?
With Prime Minister Modi, we are deeply committed, and we have the same obsession: creating momentum, inspiring people and gathering them in order to deliver, but we are obsessed by concrete results. So now, all together, we are creating a new momentum, and this day is very important. But all together, we take a new commitment, which is just to deliver, to get concrete results for our countries and for our planet. Et donc, mettons-nous au travail.
So let's get to work. Thank you.